craziest cheating stories on divorce court.
I look in her phone and Facebook messages popping up from different guys saying how, oh, we need to go out to the movies tomorrow, or we're gonna be out and, how's your day, baby? And
I was living with another woman, but I wasn't in a relationship.
No, ma'am. I was dabbing here, dabbing there. I needed a place to stay.
You were just using her for her crib.
Yes.
What you do?
I cheated on him.
He went to Philadelphia to get a job.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I did cheat on him.
Let's start things up with Aisha Sims and Tyrell Hopkins. These two were married for 2.5 years and then separated for a year. So, what was it that couldn't let them spend their marriage together for a long time? Well, Aisha filed for a divorce, claiming that Tyrell Hopkins wasn't reliable at all.
What type of problems?
A lot of problems.
Well, a lot of
different
problems didn't tell me much. Can you tell me the problems?
A lot of, like, he's not reliable at all. Sometimes he is and sometimes he's not. So it's like you can't be a husband when you want to and just stop.
What has a man got to do to be considered responsible? Well, this lady claims that she is super traditional. So she's looking for a man who will put a roof over her head, make sure she eats, and basically be a provider.
What do you mean by reliable?
And responsible. You have to keep a roof over your wife's head. You have to make sure she has things that she needs, not necessarily want. We moved from place to place, from place to place. We never had a stable place to stay.
That's a grown-ass woman looking to have waited on hands and feet. And the conclusion is that she wants a divorce because she feels he's not a man.
You're gonna tell me the definition of a wife in a minute. She gonna tell me the definition of a man.
The definition of a man that I was raised that he keeps a roof over their head no matter what. I mean, because, wife have to have a roof over their head. He has to have a roof over his head. I mean, for both. I mean, you provider.
So the man is a provider?
Mm-hmm.
Tyrell doesn't agree with whatever she said, and that's where it gets even more interesting. He insists that she's a woman, but not a wife, while the husband and wife are supposed to be. Well, what the heck were they talking about during the dating phase? These are clearly two different ideologies.
And you say she's not a woman?
She's a woman, she's not a wife.
Why? What did she do right?
I was raised that the husband and the wife are supposed to take care of 50-50. I'm supposed to have her back when she's down, and she's supposed to have mine when I'm down. When I'm down, she never had my back.
On the one hand, we have a woman that's looking for a full-time provider husband, while the man insists that they are both supposed to have each other's back. The funny thing is that he did not go out to look for a job. Tyrell got a permanent job in Philadelphia as soon as his wife became pregnant. They decided that he needed to be more stable. But what she didn't say is that she cheated on him while he was away working, and she was pregnant.
What do you mean he didn't know it? So you're saying it's true?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I did cheat on him.
He went to Philadelphia to get a job, to make a better life for you and your unborn child. And you cheated on him while he was there?
While she was pregnant.
Yeah, while I was pregnant. Go ahead.
What'd you do?
I cheated on him.
So this so-called traditional woman saw how her husband went out to hustle up some money and thought it was a good idea to sleep with another man with his baby in her body. That takes cheating to a whole different level. Did she end up with a rich man who waits on her hands and feet? You'll be shocked to know the answer to this. According to her husband, she hooked up with a silly guy who couldn't read. But Aisha is insisting that her new guy takes care of his child anyway. Talk about a downgrade.
So you had an affair with another man?
Yes, I did.
While he was going away trying to work and make a better job for you and him?
I sure did. I knew it's the same old Ronnie Hopkins, the same old, everything's the same old,
She didn't see any improvement, or she didn't think she saw any improvements. Yeah. And so she went and slept with some stupid guy that can't even read.
For a man who she claims is there for her, it's quite shocking that he's not working at all.
Well, then tell me, is he working?
No, he's not working at this point.
Well, now you're mad at him because he's not working and you're married to him. And he goes off to get a job and you meet up with another man that's not working?
He's conniving and he's a liar and I'm not finna sit with somebody and not be happy. I take care of my responsibilities. My baby has everything he needs.
And Aisha pays her rent every month too. Yes, her and not her new provider man. Looks like she was just looking for an excuse to hook up with another man.
I have my own apartment, yes I do, which I pay every month.
Excuse me?
Whatever.
Which you pay.
Well, I pay my rent every month.
Not the man that's meeting your needs and giving you everything that you want.
I pay my rent. I don't ask him for nothing. It's not his responsibility.
So she left the man that she claims is not providing for her, even though he got a job out of town for another man that's not providing for her at all. while she foots all the bills. That gets us thinking, is the child really for her ex-husband? What a cheater.
You didn't leave this man because he wasn't providing for you.
No,
because you with another man that's not providing for you, you're paying your rent and you're keeping the roof over your head. And you said a man is supposed to be a provider, stand up for your right, keep a roof over your head. So you're not with a man.
Here's the incredible but true story of Marquita Cox and Stephen McCauley, who were once hopelessly in love. But it has all gone to bits. This couple had already been together for 10 years with 3 children together. But Marquita went to a divorce court with a request to dissolve her cohabitation with Stephen, who she met when she was 16.
When I first met Stephen McCauley, he was the best boyfriend you could ever want. I was 16 years old. He just really shared a lot in common with me, so I really felt comfortable around him. And so after about a month of us knowing each other, I ended up quickly getting pregnant with my daughter. And after that, the relationship has been rocky ever since then.
Did you just hear that right? Yes, 16. Looks like Stephen is all about catching them young. He was only 19 at the time, and possibly not in the mood to stick to only one woman. Young blood and all that. Anyway, the cheating started as soon as Marquita got pregnant with her second child for Stephen. Another woman claimed that she was 3 months pregnant with him too. So Marquita went into full detective mode. Went through his phone and talked to the woman.
I ended up going through his phone and talking to the girl. I called her phone and talked to her. Yes, me and Steve was messing around. We've been messing around now for a few months, and I didn't know anything about you, is what she told me. They had been messing around for months before I had even found out.
Ms. Cox told her very well ordered.
What do they always say about checking your partner's phone? Never do it. But if you have the heart to handle whatever you see, feel free to jump right into it. Anyway, back to the story.
I just came home from college and I wanted to meet some new people, so she came over. And the actual truth is, she got pregnant like the first week we met each other, and it was like 2 weeks of knowing each other. I look in her phone and Facebook messages popping up from different guys saying how, oh, we need to go out to the movies tomorrow, or we're gonna be out and, how's your day, baby? And
If you think you have heard the craziest cheating story to ever come to divorce court, you're so wrong. Wait till you listen to the story of Kenneth Hillary versus Patrice Johnson. Here's another female cheater who really took things up a notch. After 5 years of marriage, Kenneth wanted to divorce Patrice because she cheated and he was tired of it. But Patrice insists that he was never there for her.
You weren't doing the right thing at the time. You weren't fully present for her because you had some other issues going on.
Yeah.
So you was just high.
Right, I was
and
just high.
And she could talk to you.
Right. She could to me, she could. And I wasn't never there. And she always had to deal with this, and deal with that, and deal with that. And while I'd just be
You was just hanging out high. Everything was cool.
Right. Is that enough reason to be a cheater, though? Well, listen to the full story and be the judge. Patrice claims that Kenneth is always high on substances, so rather than go out to work, he turned into a couch potato who sometimes always found a way to get free weed. And that gave him more than enough time to monitor his wife's movement. One day, she said she wanted to go to Walmart to get tissues. He suspected that this was a lie and went into her truck to hide behind the passenger seat. That was when he heard her on the phone telling someone that she was coming.
So I was like, okay, that's cool. You can go, okay, you're going to, that's fine. Go ahead. But something deep down was like, didn't sound right. I'm not using it. I'm just in there. I came out the bathroom and I third passenger seat. So I'm, at this time, I'm getting upset. My heart is racing. I want to turn into the Incredible Hulk, tear out some seats and just.
Except tissues have somehow gotten the ability to speak. That was definitely not what was going on at that point. Meanwhile, Stephen kept his cool until she got to a particular location. And that's when things got real. Another man got in. They started laughing and talking together. And just when they started kissing, Stephen poked his head up. And then he jumped out. Marquita, the cheater, was exposed in that instant. At divorce court, she admitted that she wasn't happy or satisfied with her marriage. And that's why she cheated.
And what prompted you to have a relationship outside of your marriage with this other person?
Because I'm not happy and satisfied with my marriage with him.
But what could Stephen have done so wrong to deserve being cheated on? Well, Let's hear it in her own words.
And what's wrong with your marriage with him?
He's not standing up being a man. He's not a provider. The sex is whack. I haven't been happy in the bedroom since Clinton been in the office.
Wow, that was cold. Did you hear that? Since Clinton has been in office, it has been a pretty long time to be unsatisfied. But that's not where it ends. She insisted that Stephen was lazy and without a job. All he did all day was to get high and watch television. At some point, he quit getting high, but that didn't lead to a search for a job. Instead, he continued to spend all his time being waited on, hand and foot like a baby. Not to mention lasting only 2 minutes in bed. Ouch.
I could do all that. So sometimes I want him to come, do something romantic and sweet. I mean, because when we do it, I'm in a mood. Like, really, he lasts. It's probably like less than 2 minutes.
That's detailed.
Oh.
I don't know about you, but if I got this kind of review from my wife, I would want the earth to open up and swallow me. Meanwhile, let's talk about how Stephen knew to follow Marquita in her truck and catch her cheating. Apparently, he is also experienced with cheating in his previous marriage. So, he knows all about the secrecy and the lies, and he just got bored because of her cheating. Well, it does take one to know one.
I could pick up on some hints, but see what it is, if she's getting sex somewhere else or she's having sex outside of the marriage, quite naturally, because I've been there, I've done that. I've cheated before, not in this marriage, but previous relationship. Yeah. I've cheated before and I know the games.
One look at Timothy Sherrod, and it's so easy to see why a woman like Jamala Hardnett fell so hard for him. But that turned out to be a huge mistake, as you're about to find out. When Timothy first met this young woman, he was actually living just across the hall with another woman. He saw Jamala standing outside and immediately liked her. Then they exchanged numbers and started dating. But what about the woman he was living with at the time? Hold on tight for this shocker. Well, he told Jamala that the woman was a lesbian. Of course, that was a bloody lie. He was dating them both.
Mrs. Hardnett, I was living with another woman at the time. I just so happened to be standing outside and I saw this beautiful young lady standing in the window with her underwear on. And I said to myself, I had to have this woman. Period.
Talk about bold and crazy. Here was a man living in another woman's apartment, and he somehow managed to be sleeping with both of them without anyone finding out. Jamala completely believed him. Does that make her dumb? She believed him because the other lady had a lot of female friends over, and she genuinely thought Timothy just needed a place to stay.
He says she was a lesbian, Your Honor. So I'm thinking...
And you believed him?
Yeah. I mean, she had a lot of females over there, so I believe she was a lesbian, and he was just a friend and he needed somewhere to stay.
So Timothy and Jamala continued their relationship until she got pregnant not too long after. Before that time, she already had 3 children from a different relationship. As soon as she got pregnant, Timothy moved in with her. He just straight up packed his bags and moved across the hallway. How ridiculous was Jamala to keep sleeping with a man that was living across the hallway with another woman? Enough to get pregnant?
But you were sleeping with this other woman across the... You were living together with her.
Yes, ma'am.
You said the oddest thing to me in your petition. You said, I was living with another woman, but I wasn't in a relationship.
No, ma'am. I was dabbing here, dabbing there. I needed a place to stay.
You were just using her for her crib.
Yes, Your Honor.
Not to mention eventually having 4 whole children together. Has anybody ever heard of birth control? Jamala was completely faithful too. She had a few girlfriends.
She had girlfriends, Your Honor.
Well, are you bisexual?
I'm
No,
not
this other
bisexual.
woman had girlfriends.
Oh, she was a part-time lesbian. Oh, she
Yes.
was bisexual.
Yes. I wasn't fully lying, Your Honor.
Meanwhile, things got really interesting when Jamala said she never asked Timothy to move in with her. Instead, he forced his way in by constantly dropping his stuff around. Apparently, it's not just women that move in with you, 1 toothbrush and wig at a time.
When you got pregnant, did you ask him to move in?
No, he forced his way in. I didn't ask him to move in. He started bringing clothes and shoes, and I started seeing toothbrushes and deodorants, and I was
Did
just
you
like,
want him there?
Okay, yeah, I wanted him there for the pregnancy, so yes.
So, what about the other woman? This man still had her in the picture, for goodness sake. Anytime Jamala did anything wrong, he would move back across the hall. Yes, that's right. He also had a lot of other women and lied about it. The woman across the hall knew Jamala as a family member's girlfriend.
You contended that you were running around with women just generally during this time. Is that true?
Yes.
Did she know that? I mean, was that the rule? That's the agreement that you made that, look, man, I may have you pregnant, but I'm a free agent?
It was a don't ask, don't tell basis.
But when I asked, he still didn't tell.
That was a huge web of lies, deceit, and cheating. Not to mention the number of women that called Jamala to inform her that Timothy got them pregnant.
She started sending fake ultrasounds to him with a baby with teeth in his mouth and stuff like that. I told Mr. Sherrod it was fake, but he didn't believe it. And I had like 5 other females come out the woodworks saying that they was pregnant with Mr. Sherrod, baby, back to back. Like, it was no stopping Mr. Sherrod.
Guess what he said in his defense? Timothy claimed that he had always been honest and never said he wanted a long-term relationship. He was totally okay with being paid for his time by women. What a shocker.
In my area, so everything I did, I made sure to let that female know, hey, this isn't to be spread around. You know, you got the goodies, take it and run. I never told anybody, hey, I was gonna keep doing this, or, you know, even times where I was paid to do what I was doing on several accounts.